thought I would teach you how to set up squads. Obviously, if you've been playing for a while, you probably know how to set up squads. But that's one of the most common questions that I get from people in my alliance because they don't understand. And this is really good for bear trap and for castle battle. Because a lot of times the rally leader for castle, if you're joining a rally for the castle or a turret, they have specific things they want. For instance, they almost always want Jesse, Jasser, Sayun. Some will accept Geronimo. And so it's really important that you know how to set those up so that you can join the rally really quickly, especially for bear. So bear's really important. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go up to our profile picture and we're going to click that. And then we're going to go down to the menu down here where it says skins, troops, leaderboard settings, and we're going to click on troops. And for bear, the first thing you want to do is you want to see how many marksmen you have. What I recommend you do is you figure out how many marksmen you need approximately in your march for your rally, and then you take the remaining marksmen and you divide them by the number of marches you have. So for bear, you always get one extra march for your rally plus the marches that you have. So if you see here, I have 6 marches where it says March Q. So 2 are currently out and about. I'm gathering, so they're out. And then 6 is the total number of marches. So during Bear Trap Rally, I have 7 rallies going. My rally that I call to attack the bear, and then I can join 6. You might only have 5, or you might have 4 if you're free to play. Or starting out, you might not even have 4. So what I did is I usually join my rally with about 200 marksmen, and I set that, and then so I just trained. It's SVS prep day, it's training day, so I just trained some additional marksmen. I'm not going to go and do the math right now, but it has historically been about 92, 94 marksmen per rally that I can join. So next we're going to go down here to squads. Now that we've done that math and we know how many marksmen we need, we're going to go down and we're going to click on squads. And now we're going to set up a squad. So for your, and I'm going to go ahead and click on one I've already set up, and we're just going to set it up again. So you can see, because like I said, I can send 94 marksmen per rally. If you have 5 marches, but you don't have enough marksmen to fill out a decent amount for marksmen, you might opt to only run 4 or 3. So base your rally number based on how many marksmen you have. Okay. So I have 94 marksmen. And then right now you can see right above Jesse, you can see that it says 144. So this is set to 144. Well, I'm going to say there's so many of us joining Bear today that the cap today is 100,000. A lot of places just set the cap at 100,000 regardless of the number of joiners. In my alliance, we adjust it based on how many are joining. So sometimes it might be 145 and sometimes it might be 100. We have 3 bear traps, and we are international alliance. We have people from all over Asia and the Southeast Pacific, Russia, the Middle East, Africa, Europe, in all of the Americas. Australia. The only place we don't have is Antarctica. So, but everybody's, so since we have so many people from various places, we do have 3 bear traps. And that does mean that we have fewer attend each bear trap. So it's not like we have 30 people at every bear. We usually have about 20 to 22. So the first thing you're going to do is you are going to pick your heroes. So it's bear. You always, when you're joining bear, you always want to have either Jessie, so that's Jessie, Jasser, so this is Jasser. Notice that this is Jasser, this is Lumak, and you don't want Lumak. That's not who we want. We want Jasser, right? So Lumak looks like he might be some sort of indigenous from the Americas, and Jasser looks like he's probably from the Middle East or something. So we want Jasser. And then the last one that we want is Seyon. Well, not the last one, but the next one we want is Seyon. And then the other one that we use in my alliance that we can use is Reina. Some places allow you to use Philly. But when you're setting up your marches, you want to make sure that you have a different hero in each march. Since I am setting up my first march, I like Jessie to be my first. So Jessie's going to be my first. And I do not remember who my next 2 heroes are for this. Greg and Hector. Okay. So I'm going to select Jessie, and then you want to select an archer, and you don't want the same archer. There you are. Greg, and then Hector. So this will be my team of heroes for my first march. And then you see it's 65, 65, 65. So the very first thing I'm going to do is come in here and type in 94. Whoop. First thing I'm going to do is 0 those out. And then I'm going to come in here and type 94. Okay. So I'm going to set this up as if I have 100,000 cap for my march. So some people do 0 infantry. I don't like doing 0. I feel like my score isn't as good if I 0 out my infantry. I have done as low as 100, but I feel like 1,000 infantry is my sweet spot. And then you can see, again, above Jessie, that it's currently at 95,000. So my infantry and my marksmen, these 2 numbers are never going to change for this march. They will stay 1,094 in perpetuity. If they tell me that our cap for this rally, this bear event is 100,000, then I will add 5,000 Lancers to get to 100,000. If they tell me it's 145, then I'm going to add 50 Lancers to get to 145. So if they say, oh, if I have it at 145 and they're like, oh, today we're only going to do 20, then 120, whoop, missed a 0. See, bad math, should be 25. Then I go in and I adjust my Lancers, so now I'm at 120. So infantry and marksmen do not change, only the Lancer number changes. And you can either type in your number, which is my preference, or you can just slide the thing. The reason I don't do this is because I like pretty numbers, and when you slide it, you don't get pretty numbers unless you like, and you spend so much time like no. Okay, so ours is usually 100, so I'm going to leave it at 100. So now that I have it set up, I need to save it. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to click save. And then you have a bunch of spots to save a formation. So what you're going to want to do is this first one that's BTR, that is my bear trap rally. So that's where I save my rally formation. And I'll show you that as soon as I show you how to do the joiner rally. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, those are my joiner rallies. And then, and I know I said I have 6, but since I only have 5 heroes, I set up the 6th one with no heroes, and I used that one twice. And I'll show you how I did that. Okay, so we're gonna save Jessie as BT1. So it will be the number 1, and you can go in here and you can edit it to whatever you want. I put BT1, so I know it's Bear Trap Joiner Rally 1. But whatever code works for you. I do differentiate between bear and say BST is my beast hunting rally, castle is my castle. I do not remember what Pat is, but 4 is fortress, death is defense, and that is attack. But again, we're going to do bear trap. So on this, because I want my 94 marksman only to ever be 94 marksman. I never wanted to go up. I never wanted to go down. So I'm going to select save by troop quantity. If you save by troop ratio, it will save the ratio that you've selected, and it will adjust your number of troops depending on how many you have available. So if you go to send out a march and you adjust it by 120, it will send out more marksmen, and then your later marches will have no marksmen. So I only want 94 marksmen ever, so that I save by troop quantity. Click confirm, and so now that one is saved. So if I move away and I come back, it's saved exactly like I just saved it. So you want to go in and you want to set up 1 for Jessie, 1 for Jasser, 1 for Seyoun. I don't know if I'm saying that right, by the way. 1 for Reyna. And then if you use Philly, or some places use Gwen and Geronimo, then you would set up marches for them. This is the march where I have no heroes. So you see the numbers are a little different because by the time we get to my 5th and 6th march, I start to run short because I have never gone in and figured out with Cyril. My Cyril is maxed. So my deployment boost for bear is, I always forget to jot it down. And so I just do 89 for my last 2 marches that have no heroes. And then I up the infantry, and then again, I adjust the lancers depending on how many I need. So in a moment's notice. Now, when you're going in making your squads, you don't want to put Greg as the archer for BT1 and BT2. You need to make sure that you use a different set of heroes for each grouping. Maybe take a piece of paper and jot down who you want with who. This becomes important because if ever you don't have a rally max and you can go ahead and do a full march, then you might want to come in and, you come in and adjust your lancers. I probably would up my infantry if I was doing a full march. And you can get a full march. If you take one of these away, so I'm just going to X out Hector, and you're going to see this 197 above Jesse is going to drop because I don't have 3 heroes, so it's not supporting my full march. You see it drop down to 180. So you have to have 3 heroes in order to do your full march. If you don't have 3 heroes, each hero you take away, you will lose some of your march. So if I take Greg away now it's 164. So some people do run it with just the joiner hero, so just Jesse, and there's nothing wrong with that. But again, if there's only a handful of you and y'all are supposed to be doing full marches, you're not going to get a full march with just one hero. So that's why I put 3 for everybody except my no heroes march, because I don't want any heroes on that march. Okay, so that's how you set that up. By number, these are all set up by troop quantity, because it's the same troop quantity. Now this one is my march, and this one I set up differently. So this one I set up based on the ratio. Now what I find works really well for my bear, because Mia, Gwen, and Geronimo are all maxed. Their widgets are maxed. They all give a boost to either rally attack or rally lethality. So, and then my Cyril is maxed. And then of course I have my pet boosts, which increases my rally also. So when I am setting this up, I want it to be the ratio that stays the same, not the number of troops. I want the number of troops to increase depending on my squad capacity. So I think right now my squad capacity for bear is about 250. I think, don't quote me on that, but I think that's what it is. So I still, when I have an additional 50,000 troops, I still want the ratio, and you can see it down here at the bottom, right above the save button. There's 5%, 15, and 80, and that is my bear rally ratio. So I always want that ratio. So again, I went in and I saved my heroes for my bear, which is Mia, Gwen, and Geronimo. If you have these 3, if you're in Gen 6 or below and you have these 3, you should use these. Once you get to Gen 7 and you get Bradley, there's some changes that start happening. But if you're a new person starting out, I would max Mia. Geronimo is very expensive, so only if I wouldn't spend a lot of money getting Geronimo unless you have a lot of money. Like don't spend a lot of money getting Geronimo, or make the mistake of spending a lot of money on this game unless you have a lot of money. It is designed to make you spend money and not realize how much money you're spending, and that can be a really big mistake if you're not careful. It also gives you dopamine hits, and so when you get that dopamine hit, it can become an addiction, and people are like, oh, I can get. No, like, it is set up to trick you. So just be cognizant of that as you move forward. If you have a lot of money, feel free to get Geronimo, max him out. You'll have a really good bear rally. I'm hitting almost 1 billion in my rally right now, and most of the people I play with are still fire, crystal, furnace. I play with 3, 4s, and 5s, and most people are either in the 200s or low 300s. So 1 billion rally from one of my rallies is honestly pretty good. And So there's that. And then, of course, I set it up. You go to balance and you adjust this. So we're going to adjust this, and we want this at 80. Boop, 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 boop. And then we want this at 15, and then we want this at 5. So 5, 15, and 80. So it's adjusted by ratio using the balance button. And then we're going to click save, and we're going to go here, and again you're going to change that name to something so that you know what this rally is for. And then, you know, earlier we did save by troop quantity, but this time we're going to do save by troop ratio. So you click that, and then you confirm, and now you have that set. So when you go to call a rally, you just have to click that button. And I am going to call a rally. So you can easily see, easily see how easy it is. So you're calling a rally, and it defaults to your main heroes. I don't have equipment on Mia or Geronimo right now, so they're not my strongest right now. But I can just click the button and then hit deploy, and it'll automatically deploy. Now, none of my colleagues are calling a rally right now because we all used our stamina yesterday during beast hunting day. So I'm going to call a rally and show you how to join a rally top down. So, calling a rally. Okay, so this is my rally, so I can't click this little blue button over on the left side, right side. But there would be a plus mark here if this were a bear rally. And I would click that to join this rally. And when you click it, you're going to get a thing that says it's going to take you. Oh, here we go. Thank you, Hakan. Like, we're going to click that. And then I just click which rally I want to join. And now I've joined her rally. We play where you have to join from the top down. So if this were bear, I would join my rally first and then her rally second. I don't actually know if Hakan is a lady or not. I know that that is their daughter. I assume it's a lady. Anyways, so that's how when we play bear, we join from the top down. So we would, and so it's really easy to launch that. Sorry, I got distracted. My dog beside me. And every time you leave, a rally you've already joined will go to the bottom. And so you can always, if you come back, the most recent rally you haven't joined will be at the top. Otherwise, you might have to scroll down if there's multiple rallies and you stay on that page. So that's my tips. Let me know if you have any questions.